Years ago in Gotham, Jax-Ur and Superman are fighting in midair. Jax-Ur reveals while throwing a punch at Superman. The Batman lies trapped forever in the Phantom Zone. It's from there I've been observing you, for decades. Watching you sink to the level of the natives. Watching you squander your sun-powered gifts. The villain threatens and declares, Jax-Ur should be the last son of Krypton. In the Phantom Zone, Alfred shows up and calls out to Batman, who is watching the fight but doesn't quite know where he is. Alfred explains, I've been speaking, or I suppose more accurately, telepathing, with those in residence. He continues, They tell me the Phantom Zone is a prison used by Superman's race to exile criminals incapable of reform or remorse. Normally, it is inescapable. Apparently, however... Back to the fight between Jax-Ur and Superman. He attacks Superman with his heat vision. He then says, Initially, I thought these portals too random to predict. But there was no finer mathematical mind on Krypton. A pattern emerged. And with it, a chance for revenge. Upon hearing this, Batman realizes that it was Jax-Ur who put the Riddler under telepathic control. Jax-Ur continues while throwing Superman's body against a pane of glass. At my prodding, he drew you to the site where an upcoming breach was scheduled to open. Batman comes to a conclusion, and where Jax-Ur could switch places with Superman, but failing that, grab me instead, leaving Superman to be ambushed by a Kryptonian killer who has all his powers. Meanwhile, in the fight, Superman puts a halt to Jax-Ur's attacks by punching him away. Jax-Ur tries to react, but the hero hits back. How, you demented monster? You got the drop on me only through surprise. Our bodies need time to fully charge from Earth's sun. You're no match for me. Jax-Ur reacts by using his heat vision against a cable car with humans inside. He speaks. But there are others at my mercy. Superman managed to catch the cable car before it falls, saving the people inside. After the successful rescue, he looks for Jax-Ur, but the villain isn't there. He hears a voice calling his name. It's Batman from the Phantom Zone. Bruce explains, If Jax-Ur can't push his thoughts from here, I'll be damned if I can't too. I wasn't able to keep eyes on him when he fled. I assume he's hiding to build his powers. But I have an idea. How are you at geometry? A few minutes later, Superman is in the air, heading somewhere. Batman continues talking to him, asking what he knows about Jax-Ur and his crimes. Superman then replies, Mass murder. My home planet of Krypton has strict regulations governing interplanetary travel. Some of its more xenophobic rulers feared Kryptonians mingling with other species. He continues his explanation. Jax-Ur defied them. He secretly tested his own spaceship, and went off course immediately, destroying one of Krypton's populated moons. Batman is shocked by the information, wanting to know how many deaths there have been. Superman answers him, 10,000. For starters, but thanks to Jax-Ur's actions, the Science Council doubled down on their laws, banning all spacecraft, including my father's attempt to build rescue arcs once he discovered Krypton was about to explode. For Superman, Jax-Ur is partly responsible for the destruction of his planet. He adds, a tragedy that took the lives of billions, including my parents. He concludes by revealing that this is the reason for his anger. Batman understands, but we're ready for him this time. Determined, Superman goes out into the city, calling for Jax-Ur. He yells, Jax-Ur! I know you can hear me. Stop running like a coward. Face me if you dare. Jax-Ur appears, about to attack Superman, but the hero manages to escape. That made Batman annoyed to see that the villain was actually one step ahead. Jax-Ur then says, You disappoint me. I expected Jor-El's son to connive a more clever trap. You and your Earth friend didn't assume I'd already calculated where the next dozen portals would open? He reaches and pulls Batman out, bringing him back to Earth. He sneers. Neither of you is a threat to me. Here, I'll prove it. Batman is free-falling, but Superman catches him easily. The two are confused by Jax-Ur's actions, but Batman is a little more confident and says, "Don't beat yourself up. We can still outmaneuver him." He continues his argument, claiming that he believes Jax-Ur is a sociopath with a grudge and his motivation is his own anger. Batman asks, "Superman, are there any other Kryptonians on Earth?" Superman's eyes widen in astonishment. In Kandor, people are getting sick and fainting, while everything around them are on fire. Jax-Ur flies up, and smiling evilly, he says, "An entire city stolen and miniaturized by Brainiac before Krypton's doom. You too will pay for Jor-El's sins." Batman and Superman arrive in Kandor. Alfred's voice calls out to Batman, who asks what's wrong. Alfred replies, "The portal, sir. The weakening of the wall between this space and our own." Alfred stares at an unknown figure, standing in front of him and adds, "I may have found the cause. There seems to be an alien before here working on some sort of device." Batman asks about the device, but the creature disappears, and Alfred can't answer, but believes it will return. The two continue talking, and Batman shares his worries. "Alfred, I'm severely out of my element here, especially with what comes next. If I fail..." But Alfred thinks otherwise. "You've never yet. Yes, you're still young, still learning, but you are nothing if not consistent." Meanwhile, Superman is fighting another battle against Jax-Ur. He declares, "Kandor is under my protection, Jax, and so is this entire planet." At the same time, Batman is looking for a specific weapon, but has yet to find it. Jax-Ur grabs Superman by his cape and throws him away. He states, "Too late, Kal-El." A massive explosion erupts as Superman is slammed into a towering statue, shattering it in half. The noise startles Batman, who turns to see a round device coming towards him. He catches it with both hands. Jax-Ur approaches Superman with a smug grin. "Your advantage has expired." Superman immediately fires up his heat vision, causing a bridge above to collapse, hoping to pin Jax-Ur beneath it. But Jax-Ur moves faster than expected, catching the rubble mid-fall. He sneers, "I'm finally your equal. In combat, it's not even close." He starts delivering powerful kicks, each one landing harder than the last. "This is what happens when you waste your days mistaking kindness for power. You never learn how to really fight." Jax-Ur continues to overpower Superman, practically knocking him out. "Instead, you tout yourself as some sort of savior to a backward people." Finally, as he throws Superman to the ground, he asks, "Well, who among them can save you now?" Superman, with a bruised face, weakly raises his head and mumbles, Batman." Jax-Ur scoffs in disbelief. "The Earthling." Just then, Jax-Ur notices Batman lurking nearby, holding a Phantom Zone projector, ready for an ambush. Without hesitation, Jax-Ur rushes toward Batman, attacking him and seizing the device. Holding it up, he says, "You imbecile, do you truly hope to surprise a man who can move as quick as..." But as he snaps the device in half, he pauses, confused. He mumbles, "Thought empty." Suddenly, Jax-Ur lets out a desperate cry as he starts to vanish. Batman smirks and says, "Don't look at me, you megalomaniac." Repurposing the projector's circuitry into the crystal floor was Superman's idea. With Jax-Ur gone, the two heroes shake hands, satisfied with their work together. Superman nods approvingly. "Gone, back into the zone where he belongs. You pulled it off just in the nick. I couldn't have rope-a-dope too much longer." Batman smirks and replies, "Is that what you call taking a beating? Your hand-to-hand battle training starts next week." Superman chuckles. "Deal." As peace is restored, those trapped in the Phantom Zone begin to return to Earth. Meanwhile, in Gotham, the Riddler is seen running down an alley, looking over his shoulder and muttering, "No more voices from the air, please, no more voices from the..." An iron bar suddenly drops from the sky and sinks into the ground right in front of him. Then a voice says, "I can finish a book without finishing a sentence. What am I?" More iron bar falls, trapping Riddler. Batman and Superman step into view, and Superman, smirking, finishes the riddle. "A prisoner. No one appreciates my jokes." With the Riddler in custody, Batman and Superman share a quiet moment atop a Gotham building. Batman warns Superman to beware of Jax-Ur, since he had the ability to outwit the Riddler himself. Superman, in turn, shares his concern about an alien presence that Alfred claims to have seen. As the sun dips below the horizon, Batman takes this moment to ask, "What you said earlier about your parents? Is that why you do this? To avenge them somehow?" Superman replies firmly, "I do it to help make a world where no one has to feel abandoned and alone." When it's time to part, Superman says, "It was nice working with you." Bruce replies with his typical stoicism, Just so you're aware, I don't normally trust power like yours. Don't make me regret it." Superman responds, "Wasn't planning on it." Batman nods. "Then I'll see you around. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.